In this week's episode of Thamani, we are in Kirinyaga County, where we get to meet Nicholas Mureithi, who has a background in engineering but has decided to go big on agribusiness. Let's now hear his journey.
My name is Nicholas Mureithi. I do coffee farming. I started this business about 10 years back with the help of loans from KCB Bank Limited. I do 5 acres of coffee, livestock, and I also do maize and bananas. I manage my farm finances myself with the help of the farm supervisor and my family. Previously, I'm a trainer in building and civil construction as a public servant. But for family reasons, I came back to my rural setting and look for what I can do that is suitable for the family. And I decided on agribusiness because all along my relatives would tell me there's money in farming, there's money in dairy cattle, there's money in coffee, and I'm a witness to the same. So immediately I took my first loan, I planted coffee. I planted first coffee on 2 acres, then on 3 acres, then finally I have coffee on 5 acres. And it is able to generate enough income for the farm to be able to generate enough money to run itself and give us some profit. Initially in this farm, our focus was on coffee. But with the time, we find ourselves doing a little maize here, a little banana, and now we're also doing livestock. We keep a record of all our farm activities. We have a calendar that runs from January to December. Normally, right from January, there is a lot of farm inputs, and we record everything. We have a farm manager who happens to be my cousin. And we manage our books and track our costs and register the workers. Like we are in coffee picking season. On Monday and Tuesday alone, we picked about 2,000 kilos of coffee. And we used about 40 workers, 40 local workers work in this farm. So we have a farm supervisor. The farm supervisor works with about 3 other assistants from the neighborhood. But most of the work is done by casual workers who actually get their livelihood by working on the farm. Well, this farm in total is about 5 to 6 acres. 4 acres of this farm are on coffee. The main crop here is coffee. But we also do a bit of maize and we do a bit of bananas. And next to the coffee, we do livestock. The livestock, we began with 3 cows, but we have 12 cows now. From the cows, the daily sale of milk is able to pay the workers who permanently stay on the farm. And the cows are also able to produce enough manure that spreads in these farms. We use the maize to sell mainly the green maize. The maize that is normally used for roasting and all that, the green maize. But the maize stalk, we also convert it into silage. And the silage becomes food crop for the cows. So it becomes cyclic. And eventually, our really crop is coffee. We get our really, the whole farm kind of really supports coffee farming because the manure from the cows goes to coffee. Maize, we eat maize. We also use it to feed the animals. As a side business, we also do, we have about 250 plants of bananas. And every month, we will sell almost 200 bananas. and they bring some good income. And the banana products are also used for mulching. You can also put it in the farm. Away from here, we have another 7 acres of green maize farming. COVID-19 caused a scare amongst our workers and our local people around. My people were demoralized and the spirits went down for farming, and the people were even afraid to come and work together. So you do not get the normal numbers that you'd expect, because there is fear that people will come and get COVID. But being very far from the city of Nairobi, the effect was not that much. After the first scare, the first few months of the scare, people resumed as normal. And we have continued working as normal. In fact, in the year 2020, we were #1 coffee producer in Kaliro Coffee Factory. And from that crop, we earned over 1 million shillings from coffee farming within the year 2020. And we have continued to develop our farm. And our expectation is that this farm will be able to produce close to 2 million in the year 2022 from the crops of the year 2021. I'm actually very grateful to the KCB Bank Limited, because all along they have helped me. I first took my KCB loan at Jogo Road KCB, but later on when I got the first 2 acres, then the next 3 acres, I shifted my loans to KCB Bank Kirinyaga branch. And we have been relating well. I get advices from the personal bankers and business bankers within KCB. And lately I'm very grateful to the current manager at KCB Kirinyaga branch, Mr. Elek and Geoffrey. They really help me and they advise me all the time. I take small loans. Sometimes I began with small loans of less than $1 million. Currently I'm able to take even up to 1 million and over. And I've bought all my farms, and I buy my farm inputs and manage the farm solely using KCB Bank loans. Proper record keeping is important. Number one, you need to know whether you are you need to understand your money in and money out, and whether you are doing zero work, whether you are breaking even. You also need to grow and develop, so you want some returns. So for that reason, you need to be able to account for every money that comes into the farm, and you also need to account for every sell, every produce that you sell, so that you can be able to keep the farm running and continue to develop it. Agribusiness is input intensive and labor intensive. Therefore, you need to be very careful with your books. You need to be careful with the funds that come into the farm, and you need to be able to account for every penny, so that you can be able to tell whether you are making progress or not.
Nicholas Mureithi continues to oversee his investments in agribusiness, which are growing from strength to strength. Let's now get to hear his vision for his business in the next 5 to 10 years.
We'd like our coffee to move to maybe close to 40 kilos a kilo, 40 kilos a tree. This farm has about 2,500 trees. Initially, when we had a few trees, we would harvest 3,000 kilos. Then we went to 8,000 kilos. 2020, we were at 13,500 kilos. In the year 2020, this year ending, we will be about 2,000 kilos. So in the next 5 years, we'd like our coffee tree to produce about 40 kilos of coffee. We would like each of our dairy cattle to produce about 10 to 20 kilos. And that means in the next 3 to 5 years, this farm may be able to generate about 5 million shillings per year. The first social impact to the local people is transfer of skills. For us to have good coffee, we need to hire some experienced people with the skills for coffee farming. Now, the people we hire to do, for example, pruning and tendering the coffee tree, work with the local people. So the same local people go back to their small coffee farms and produce better coffee, or rather they increase their yield. That's the first impact. You are able to transfer skills. The second impact is that our local workers, our local brothers and sisters, they're able to make some money from the farm on a daily basis. And that way they are able to buy their food. They are also able to educate their children. So this farm supports, on average, it is about 5 permanent workers. And every other month, about 20 to 40 workers work in this farm, and they benefit. The casual workers benefit from the daily rate that they get. They don't work on this farm daily. They work on a few days when there is work, because we also encourage them to work in their farm and to produce also for themselves. We also encouraging them to have chama to generate income. Those able to have good coffee crops can also go for business loans from KCB Bank Limited. I'm a testimony that you can use Kenya Commercial Bank Limited loans and make it.
And that's it for this week's episode of Thamani, the show that supports micro, small and medium enterprises. Now from River Thiba, here in Kirinyaga County, I've been your host, Alex Mwangi.